Okay, so next we're going to cover some infant resuscitation and then choking. These are two skills that I hope you won't ever have to utilize with your baby, but they are good life skills to have. And we decided to cover them as we do with a lot of our preterm babies, but we said to make them available for all parents. So for instance, if you come into a room and your baby's very pale or either pale or blue in colour, or if you have a monitor and that it is alarmed and you come in, you feel your baby's not breathing. So we never shake a baby. So in adults, they'd always say shake the person. We never ever shake a baby. So what we do is we stimulate them, okay? So by tapping them on the shoulder or on the foot, or even just picking them up. Natural instinct will be to pick them up to make sure they're okay. So some people just pick them up. Lauren, can you hear me? Like so, and pop them back down onto a hard surface, okay? Then what you need to do is look, listen and feel for 10 seconds, okay? So what we're doing in this case is we're opening up the baby grow and pulling up the vest so that we get a clear vision of the baby's stomach and chest area, okay? You're going to open up the baby's airway into a nice neutral position like so the nose and the eyes are facing directly up to the ceiling. You're going to bring your face down to theirs, okay, so that you're looking down their chest to see if you can see stomach and chest rising, that you're feeling the breath on your cheek, and that you're listening to see if you can hear them breathing, okay? So just to show you there, you're bringing your face down, you're looking down to see if you can see chest and stomach rising, you're listening to see if you can hear them breathing, and you're trying to see if you can feel the breath on your face, okay? You just do this for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, if you feel that your baby isn't breathing, then you're going to call for help. So if you've come into the room and found your baby like this, what you'll do is you'll call for help. If there's someone in the house, they'll ring the ambulance for you and you'll start into your CPR. If there's nobody there with you and you have your phone on you, then you can ring yourself and put them onto speaker. So they're on speaker and you can start into your CPR. If you don't have your phone on you and there's nobody in the house, what you'll do is you'll start CPR immediately and you'll do 2 minutes of CPR first. The reason for this is normally in babies, it is respiratory. So it is hoped that within the 2-minute period, you'll have gotten your baby breathing again, okay? If after 2 minutes, your baby isn't responsive still and still is not breathing, then you bring your baby with you to go get help, either to go get your phone or to go call someone to get an ambulance, and you will continue then with your CPR. CPR is 30 compressions to 2 breaths, okay? The compressions are a third of your baby's diameter, which is roughly 1.5 inches. We do 30 compressions and we aim to have 120 compressions within a 1-minute period. So you are pushing quite hard and quite fast. Your breaths then is over the nose and the mouth in a baby, okay? So each breath, roughly a second long each. Obviously we don't need as big of a breath to inflate the baby's lungs as you would for an adult, but it is still a nice breath to make sure that you're getting good air entry, okay? So over the nose and mouth, and it's 2 breaths, and then straight back into your 30 compressions. We'd aim to be getting 5 sets. So each set will be 30 compressions followed by 2 breaths. And we'd aim to be getting 5 sets within a 2-minute period. It is after these 5 sets that if you don't have a phone with you or if there's nobody there to call for help, that you would bring your baby with you and make sure to go and get help. I'm going to go through all of that again and demonstrate it from start to finish. And hope that, again, as I say, that you'll never have to use these skills. So you're going to come into the room and your baby might be pale or blue in colour, or an alarm might have went off to say that your baby has stopped breathing. The first thing you do is stimulate your baby. Tap them on the foot or the shoulder or pick them up, okay? Lauren, can you hear me? You pop them back down onto a hard surface. It is really important they go back onto a hard surface rather than a soft surface if you're going to do CPR. We're going to look, listen and feel. So we open up our baby grow and pull up our vest so we get a clear vision of their stomach and their chest area. Then we're going to open their airway. So opening up their airway, bringing their nose and eyes facing into neutral position right up to the ceiling so that they have a nice opening here. We're going to bring our face down towards theirs. We're going to look to see if we can see any stomach or chest rising. We're going to see if we can feel their breath on our cheek, and we're listening to see if we can hear them breathing. So we're looking to see if we can see stomach or chest rise, feeling the breath on our cheek, and listening to see if we can hear them breathing. We do this for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, if there's no signs that they're breathing or if they're gasping, then we're going to call for help and start into our CPR. If there's someone in the house, they're going to call for us. If we have a phone on us, we can ring ourselves and put them onto speaker. If we do not have our phone and there's nobody in the house, we're going to start into CPR and do 2 minutes of CPR first before we go and get help. So your CPR is 30 compressions to 2 breaths. The compressions, in order to find out where we do the compressions, we draw a line in between the 2 nipples and come to the middle. Using your other hand, bring your 2 fingers directly below your middle of the nipples, okay? So just to go over that again, sorry. So draw a line in between your 2 nipples and come to the center. Using your other hand, bring your 2 fingers directly below it. Each compression is about 1/3 of the baby's diameter, which is 1.5 inches roughly. I personally always put my hand here behind the baby's head to keep the airway open and to support the baby when you're doing your compressions. You're looking to do 120 compressions within a minute period. So it is going to be quite quick and quite fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Then you're going to do your 2 breaths. For the purpose of demonstration, I'm using a shield here, but obviously at home you wouldn't be using one. You're breathing over the nose and the mouth. So you're opening up the airway into that nice neutral position where the nose and eyes are facing directly up to the ceiling. You're going to come down towards your baby and breathe over the nose and the mouth. You're going to give 2 nice breaths where you can see good chest rising there. I'm just going to demonstrate that if I was to overextend the airway, so pull the head too far back, you won't get any chest rise, so no air entry. And again, if I underextend, so don't open my airway adequately, again, you don't get any chest rise. So it is really important that you bring your baby into a nice and neutral position where the eyes and nose are facing directly up to the ceiling and that you give your breaths. And it's 2 nice big breaths. There should be a bit of a mark where you had done your compressions. So you go straight back into your 30 compressions, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Again, opening that airway into a nice neutral position. And 2 nice breaths. Back to your compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can see it's really important that the chest is recoiling each time you give a compression. So you can see that it's also important that you're not moving your fingers up and down each time and taking them off. Keep your fingers on the chest for the compressions. And just bear in mind that obviously what you're doing is you're pumping the heart, okay? Again, back into your 2 breaths. Open that airway, nice neutral position. And 2 breaths. Continued on, you're going to aim for 5 sets within a 2-minute period. If you haven't called for help yet after 2 minutes and your baby still is not breathing, you bring your baby with you and you go get help. Either by ringing somebody or by going get somebody to ring the ambulance for you. In the meantime, then you'll continue into with your CPR until further help arrives. The only reasons you would stop CPR is, firstly, if your baby starts breathing for you. Secondly, if somebody else comes and takes over from you. Or thirdly, if you physically can't do any more and need to take a break. From personally, I would always call out the breaths and the compressions, I should say, out loud. That is entirely individualized. Personally, I feel that in such a stressful situation, if you are calling the breaths out loud, it keeps you calm and helps you to know where you are in your cycle. Also, if somebody comes into the room that knows CPR, they know what you're doing and they can take over on the breaths. And lastly then, if you've rang the emergency line and you have that individual on speaker, they will be trained in CPR and they'll be able to guide you. So for instance, if you are counting, they know exactly what you're doing and they'll be able to guide you and reassure you and give you reassurance by saying, great, just 2 more breaths, back into your compressions, and they'll be able to help you in that sense. However, if they don't know what you're doing, then they'll be asking you questions like, is the baby breathing? Try to do this. Why don't you give compressions? Whereas if you're trying to concentrate, if you're already giving compressions at that point, it can be quite distracting. So I think it works better overall for any other people that come into the room or anyone that's on the phone, that if you're calling it out loud, it also keeps you relaxed as well. So that's what I would recommend. From an ambulance perspective, the ambulance companies have asked that if anybody ever does need to ring 999 or 112, that you would make sure to, if you have your air code, because that can help with getting them there to you quicker, or that if there's someone else in the house, that they have the door open and make sure to meet them to tell them where you are in the house doing your CPR, so that they're not trying to get in for a while and trying to find you within the house. As I say, hopefully you will never have to use any of these CPR skills, but it's just some basic tips, and that hopefully will help you and make you relaxed if you ever to come across that situation. Next, we're going to cover choking. Again, not to scare you, but just to give you some basic tips. For instance, if your baby is feeding on a bottle and starts coughing, the only thing you're going to do is take out the bottle and sit them up into an upright position, making sure their back is straight and make sure they're okay. Make sure they've got their breath fully back before you put the bottle back in. However, if your baby is weaning and starts coughing and choking on a piece of food, or takes up a toy and puts it into their mouth and is choking on that, if they're in the high chair, you need to take them out immediately, okay? Put them onto your lap. So if you're sitting at a chair, you sit down on the chair and put them onto your lap. What you need to do is open up their mouth and have a look inside to see if you can see anything, okay? Never put your finger into their mouth without checking. This is called a blind sweep. The reason we don't do this is if they're coughing, the natural reflex will be to cough if they're choking. And if they're coughing and you put your finger in, you can actually push the item further back into their esophagus and cause more damage, okay? So yes, open the mouth and have a look, and if you can see something, use your index finger and sweep it out, okay? If you can't see something and your baby is coughing or pale in colour and finding it hard to breathe, what you then do is you turn them over. Pop your hand under their chin like so and turn them over your arm, okay? You're going to bring them down over your knee into a downward tilted position so that their head is lower than their bottom. Using your other hand, you're going to use the palm of your hand and coming in here between the middle of their back area, you're going to give 5 back thrusts, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully you will see something come to the ground at that point. If not, using your opposite hand, you put your hand behind their head to support their head again and bring them over, okay? Then you're going to give 5 compressions. In order to find the area where we're giving the compressions, is draw a line in between the 2 nipples and come 2 fingers below. So it's the center of the baby's chest, okay? So again, you're going to give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 compressions. So it's pushing down sharply on the baby's chest. At that point, open the baby's mouth again and have another look inside to see if you can see anything. Sweep it out if you can see something. Otherwise, put your hand back on their chin, again supporting their head and turning them back over your opposite arm. And do your 5 thrusts once more. Your hand up, protecting their head, and turn them over and back into the same spot to do your 5 compressions. Okay? You're going to do this 5 times, otherwise you're going to be calling for help. If there's nobody with you, make sure you go bring your baby with you and call for help. If you notice that your baby has stopped coughing and isn't making any noises or has become very pale and limp, what you need to do is put them onto the hard surface, open up their vest and baby grow, and do your look, listen and feel as we've already explained in your CPR. Okay? At that point, if they're not breathing, that's when you call for help and start into your CPR process. As I mentioned, hopefully you'll never have to use any of the choking or infant resuscitation skills. However, they're great basic life skills to have. If you have any questions or if you wish to meet myself or my colleague Marguerite at any point, please ask any of the staff nurses and they'll arrange for it. We hope that everything so far has gone well for you guys and that you found these videos helpful. Best of luck in your next chapter of your life and enjoy every moment of parenthood. If there's anything at all that we can help you with, please just let us know. Thank you and best of luck.